Welcome back. Today, we're going to dive deep into a microscopic world to uncover a tiny creature that has a surprisingly huge impact on our food, our economy, and yeah, even our health. It's living in our cupboards, traveling the globe, and its story is way more complex and fascinating than you might think.
So, let me ask you a question. Next time you reach for that bag of flour, or maybe some pancake mix from the pantry, have you ever stopped to wonder what else might be in there? We're about to pull back the curtain on this hidden world, and trust me, the answer is probably not what you're expecting.
All right, so our investigation is going to start by identifying the main suspect. This is a creature that's been living right alongside humans for centuries, a lot of the time totally unnoticed, but it has a name that really gives the game away. Let me introduce you to Tyrophagus putrescentia. You've probably heard of it by its other names like the mold mite, the cheese mite, or just the food mite. This tiny little arachnid is what we call synanthropic, which is really just a scientific way of saying it has evolved to live right alongside us, and it absolutely thrives in the environments we create. And it's been incredibly successful at it, setting up shop in our homes and food supplies all over the world.
You know, the name itself tells a really cool story. Tyrophagus actually comes from the Greek for cheese eater, and this isn't some new name either. It reflects this long, shared history where these mites have been a known pest, spoiling high-protein foods like cheese and cured meats for centuries.
So where does this little guy fit in the grand tree of life? Well, first off, it's a multi-celled animal, so it's in the kingdom Animalia. And its lifestyle? It's described as environmental and sometimes as an ectoparasite. Now, all that means is that it lives on surfaces and in our environment, not inside of us like a parasite you might swallow. So it's a colonizer of our world, not our bodies.
So you've got to wonder, how does something this small become a global phenomenon? Well, its story is completely tangled up with our own history of global trade and farming.
Let's just take the Netherlands, for example. The country has this humid climate that these mites absolutely love. But the bigger thing is its role as this massive global hub for agriculture. The Netherlands basically gives these mites a first-class ticket around the world on its exports. It's even known to carry tulip virus X, which is a huge threat to the country's famous bulb industry.
The mite's life cycle is pretty straightforward, but here's the kicker. It's incredibly fast when the conditions are right. It starts as an egg, hatches into a larva, goes through a few nymphal stages where it just grows and grows, and then finally becomes an adult, ready to make more mites. This super quick turnaround is exactly why an infestation can seem to pop up out of nowhere.
Okay, now we're getting to the part that really matters for our health. Because, spoiling food is one thing, but the direct impact these mites can have on the human body is a whole lot more serious. This quote from the research just sums it up perfectly. We're not just talking about a simple pest here. We're talking about a complex organism that's a pest, a powerful source of allergens, and in some cases, a direct cause of disease.
And that brings us to this very dramatic-sounding condition, pancake syndrome. I know, sounds a little wild, right? But its official name is oral mite anaphylaxis, and it is every bit as serious as it sounds. It's a severe allergic reaction, sometimes even leading to anaphylactic shock, and it happens when someone eats food, usually pancake mix or flour, that's been heavily infested with Tyrophagus mites.
But the danger doesn't even stop there. These mites are a major headache for people who work in bakeries, on farms, or in food storage facilities, causing really severe occupational allergies. There are even documented cases of something called human acariasis, which is when the mites actually cause intestinal or even lung infections. The main point here is that their allergens are really potent and can cause a whole spectrum of health issues.
Okay, so that's a lot of unsettling stuff. We know the problem, so the next logical question is, what can we do about it? Let's talk about how to spot it, and more importantly, how to defend ourselves against it.
For anyone out there suffering from mysterious allergies, there is some good news. Scientists have actually isolated a specific protein, kind of like a unique fingerprint, for this mite. Experts are now recommending that this protein get added to standard allergy tests. This lets doctors pinpoint the food mite as the real cause of someone's symptoms, when it could have easily been mistaken for something else.
Now, for preventing the problem in our own homes, the solution is just beautifully simple and effective. The experts call it the cold chain for flour, and honestly, this is the single most important thing to remember for protecting your pantry.
So what does that even mean? It's so easy. Just store your flour, your mixes, any of your grain-based products in airtight containers in a cool, dry place. But the absolute best defense?
put them right in the refrigerator or even the freezer. The cold just completely stops the mites from reproducing, which basically eliminates the risk of a major infestation and the danger of pancake syndrome. Simple as that.
So what does the future hold for all this? Well, researchers and regulators are actually working on some really innovative ways to manage this mite on a much bigger scale, beyond just our home kitchens.
And here are the main things the experts are calling for. Regulators are being urged to get better at monitoring imports that might be carrying these mites. The agricultural tech world is working on developing bioacaricides, basically using good bacteria like Serrata urolitica to control mites without using harsh chemicals. And finally, there's a continued push for the medical community to just be more aware that these mite-related health issues exist.
Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating final question. Just like us, these mites have their own little ecosystem of bacteria living inside of them, their own microbiome. And as we just saw with bioacaricides, researchers are now wondering, could the key to controlling this tiny pest actually be found within the even tinier world that's living inside of it? It's a pretty wild thought.
And just a quick note, all the information you saw in today's explainer was compiled and synthesized for you using a Gemini deep search. If you want to dive even deeper into the research for yourself, you can find a complete and detailed list of all the scientific papers and articles we used in the Notebook LM document, which is linked down in the description.
And that's our look into the hidden world of the food mite. If this made you think twice about what's lurking in your pantry, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more explainers just like this one. Let us know what you think, or if you have any questions in the comments below. Thanks for watching.